I don't like when people tell me what to do. Like, I don't like going to the dentist and being shamed about my fucking, like, floss. I'm never gonna floss. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Like,
same. Yeah, I hate that. I hate when you go to the dentist and they're like, "Are you flossing?" Well, obs not. Like, you're
yeah,
looking
like,
in my mouth. Does
yeah,
it can
like,
you tell?
fucking
What
fight me.
what if I say yes? You don't know.
Mhm. Oh, man. So, like, they do this so when she was, like, taking my, like, card, my vaccination card to put, like, the second shot on, she's like, "Congratulations getting your second shot," and I was like, "Woo," and she was like, "But don't go crazy," and I'm like, "Bitch, you don't know me. I might go crazy."
Bi
Like
bitch, I might.
like, you saying not to makes me want to. I wasn't thinking about it before.
You're listening to Mating Habits of the Modern Geek, advice on love and dating within your own species. Are you having trouble finding that perfect geeky match? Do you need dating tips or relationship advice? If the answer is yes, you've come to the right place. I'm your host, Kelly Hightower, and in this podcast, we'll discuss the issues, answer your questions, and give you the skills you need to help you become better at dating.
Hello, and welcome to the 119th episode of Mating Habits of the Modern Geek. I'm your host, Kelly Hightower, and joining me today is Paris. What's up, Paris?
"Hey, how's it going?"
It's good. How are you doing?
"Good, I got my second vaccine today, like, 6 hours ago."
Thank you for jumping on here real quick before you potentially don't feel 100%. Um,
Right?
yeah, I got my second shot last week, so we're good. I'm not going to tell
Yeah,
you what happened to me on it because I don't want to discourage anybody from getting their shots.
right. No, I won $1,000,000 after I got my second shot, so
Yeah, it was great. It was great for
yeah.
me. I loved it. Everything was fine, and although it's not sarcastic, it was totally worth it.
Uh-huh.
Good
Mhm.
shot. I don't care which one you get, but maybe not Moderna. The point is, the point is, it's still worth it, no matter how bad you feel for how many days.
Mhm.
Um, so if you are listening to this, then you subscribe to the podcast, and you're awesome. And if you're watching this, then you are a Patreon subscriber. And we love you. So thank you for signing on and being a part of this. If you're a Patreon subscriber, you're able to hear my "What does Kelly think about Falcon and the Winter Soldier?" So that's going pretty well. The last one went up a little bit late. See my second vaccine story for the reason why. But but yeah, so please think about joining the Patreon. $3 here, $5 here, $10 here, and you can get some extra stuff, including video of our podcasts. Sometimes it's like every other time. Um,
Yeah.
so, and for those who are asking, because people were asking, um, Sean Ryan will be back on soon, and we're trying to potentially do a special video episode for the 120th episode of Mating Habits. So we'll see.
Ooh.
Fingers crossed. He's a busy man.
Mhm.
And it's irritating. He should just be here to do what I want to on podcast related things. The title of this episode and what we'll eventually talk about is area of effect, do's and don'ts of role playing as a couple. And I think this is a really interesting topic. And I think that both Paris and I have drastically not different or opposing, but we between the two of us, we've got it covered. We've been in every single gaming situation. So yeah, but before we get to that, what are your haps and recaps? What's been going on with you since we last spoke?
Okay, so, I'm gonna, keep the streak going, and, Will from the Discord, uh, linked me to the new Magic: The Gathering set that's coming out, their little preview, and during that preview, they launched, the phone app for iOS, Magic: The Gathering Magic Arena, basically,
Hmm.
and I've been playing that nonstop. Um,
You're back
I've
on the sauce.
I've not won at all, like,
Really?
'cause I don't well, I've won, like, a couple of times, but, like, I don't pay for
Ah,
packs. I'm
ah.
just doing, like, kind of the free grind,
Hmm.
and I'll eventually get there, and by the time I get there, a new set will happen, and I'll have to start all over again, but I'm trying to make this free, basically,
Right,
so
right. Well,
it's
because you
been
used to play a
fun.
lot.
Oh, I used to play all the time. I
Mhm.
used to go into tournaments. I used to play very casually. I mean, I, used to listen to a Magic podcast in like 2010. Like, who would listen to podcasts in 2010?
I mean, I
Very
did,
few
but
people.
right,
But
it was just
exactly.
me. It was me and you, that's
Yeah.
it.
'Cause that's us, yeah. Um, so like, I mean, I was into it and I really kind of, moved away due to, personal conflict in that arena. No
Mhm.
pun intended. But yeah, it's nice to just be able to play and not have to find somebody to play with. And it's also nice to play against a computer
Right.
because then I don't have to worry about my kid's gonna bother me and I have to step away from this game. So I went against the computer pretty frequently, but like if I'm matched up against a player,
Mhm.
nah, their deck tends to be a good money deck, and I'm still rusty. But I've been
Well,
having fun.
that's good. It's funny you mentioned that. We keep mentioning Will every episode, which he seems to enjoy. And I
Mhm.
never really write down exactly what his Twitch stream is called. I think it's Plain Talkers Podcast. Plains
Yeah,
Talkers Podcast.
yeah, like the um, yeah, like the Planeswalker
Is it
is a magic.
Planeswalker?
No, no, no. Planeswalker is a Magic the Gathering thing, and so it's a
Right.
pun off of that. So
I knew.
Planestalker.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
but it's very interesting. I like how he has it all set up where you can see everybody's hand, and if you're into magic, you should be into it. Um,
yeah.
I've gone on there and watched and be like, I don't know what's happening. This is cool. I need to figure out how he does all this, and then I'll be like, see you later.
Magic, Magic is the one nerd cred that I have that it's one of those things where I can. mm, I've done it so long that I'm so comfortable with it. Like a
Hmm.
lot of the things, like if I play, Dungeons and Dragons or other things with folks, I'm never like 100% comfortable. Like I'll do this thing and I'm like, but somebody has a counter to like, or I'm doing this rule wrong or whatever
Right.
because I'm not seeped in it. But like with Magic, it's something that I've been doing for, wow, half my life at this point.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I just like it's pretty second nature and I can kind of talk shit with the rest of them. So, oh, sorry, um, Roger, talk, stuff with the rest of them.
Yeah. Listen to this, Roger. Get fucked. We curse on this one.
We're cussing here, man.
We're cursing. We say bad words all the time. Um, this will be good to see if he listens. Will
It's
he
true.
listen? Will he listen to shows? He might listen because you and he are friends. Um, or I'll get that little sneaky like, send me the link. You join the Patreon. Um, anyway,
Call out.
exactly. No, that's fine. Please, that I don't want to say that, and then like more friends will join the Patreon. I feel bad. Um, so what else is going on?
Right. Oh, so I feel so dumb. I knew that HBO Max was a thing,
Yeah.
and I just assumed. So I pay for HBO through Hulu,
Hmm.
and I just like assumed that HBO Max was something different that I also had to pay for.
Oh no,
It's not, obviously.
no.
Like I just in my brain, I just was like, oh, another streaming service that I'll probably have to pay $20 for. I'm not going to do this anyway. Because y'all were talking about the Snyder's cut
Yes.
of and I wanted to watch it and I was like, how am I gonna watch it? And I'm like, it's not on Hulu's HBO. And like I just was like, fuck it, I'll pay for Max because I want to watch this. And then I went to go to it and it was like, oh, log in through Hulu. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. You, Geneva, you have just done an old lady thing, not understanding technology, not understanding anything. I'm just so used to paying
Yeah.
for everything. And so anyway, and I never had HBO as part of a cable package. And of course,
Right.
it makes sense since that's the model that they've always had. Anyway,
Right.
so
I hate
now
that.
that we have,
Theoretically, you could have just asked me for my cable password, and I'd have given it to you.
right, right,
if
no,
you
but
if you couldn't have
I've
gotten to you couldn't have gotten to HBO Max through your own subscription that you're already paying for.
right,
Right.
right, and I would have, whatever. I'm not hurting for cash. I could have used
Right.
that stimmy check to, give some money towards, HBO Max. It would have been fine. Um, but yeah, like So anyway, I watched that. It was fine. I
Mm-hmm.
have really no opinion.
Right.
But what it has opened it up to is that we have all this access to the DC catalog.
Yes.
And my husband is in love with the animated series of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been watching that, and that's been fun because we've actually been watching it with our kid, and
Cute.
she loves it too.
Oh, that's
And
cute.
yeah, but we didn't really know about Titans or Titan. I can't remember. It's basically Teen Titans, but like
Right.
Riverdale.
Right. Right.
um, and we've started watching that, and it's just such a weird experience just to like, because I'm just so used to like Teen Titan from like the cartoon and
Mm-hmm.
it being whimsical. And then there's even like another even cutesier version of Teen Titans where they are
They're like little chibis almost.
like little chibis, yeah.
American
And
chibis.
Eris loves that one. My
Right.
kid loves that one. And like this one's so dark and there's so much murder. And like we started watching it with Eris, and I'm like, Kevin, this isn't in mature rating. Like we
Right.
can't watch this with her.
Right.
And he's like, hey, let's see where it goes. And like 14 minutes into the first episode, somebody gets like shot execution style. And like I kind of see it about to happen because it's supposed to be like a jump shot. And I'm like, I hit X on the PlayStation and I'm like, she's gonna get shot. And he's like, no, she's not. And I'm like, she's about to get shot in the back of the head.
Yeah.
I would rather not take the chance. And so we had a fun time of like, you know, we made a little bet, we put Eris to bed, we hit resume, and
Mm-hmm.
like half a second later, bam! And I'm like, oh, you have to do the dishes now. But we've been enjoying the Titans, or Titan, I can't even remember.
Right. I
Um,
think it's the Titans or New
the
Titan.
Titans.
No, something.
It's
Yeah.
just one word, like it's either Titan or Titans, I can't remember, but
Gotcha.
I don't know if it goes anywhere well or good or whatever, but I'm having fun with it. And I really
Okay.
like Dick Grayson as, Robin Hood, God, Robin, Nightwing type
Right.
feels. So like, and he's he's cast as a hot guy, and he's not a teenager in this
Oh,
casting. He's a
he's a
mid
grown man.
20s. He's a grown ass man,
Well, maybe I might
and
start watching Titans.
he looks so good. So like I enjoy, and because I also HBO, the Great Pottery Throwdown is like Great British Bake Off, but people making pottery, and it's so wholesome. And now I
Oh,
want to take 1,000 pottery classes, and luckily that like post COVID, that's going to be popping. There's apparently a pottery studio everywhere in North Carolina,
oh,
so
right. Because people,
that's
did
like
people start that project as a quarantine thing that they were doing?
no, it's actually just like the clay's good here. So
We do have
like
good clay.
yeah.
That's true.
So so it's actually like an artisan thing, kind of like how we know people who blacksmith or
Right. Right.
stuff, that this is just like that, but way more, it's easier to like mess with clay and then put it in a hot
Yes.
oven.
Yeah. And you can go to someone else's pottery studio and
Mhm.
do it, and then wash your hands and come home. You don't have to buy all the
Yeah,
stuff yourself
exactly.
and dedicate a room to it in your house.
Yeah, I'm not
Set
all
up a
into that.
podcasting corner. You don't have to do any of that.
Make my husband build another shed. I say that like I wouldn't be building the shed.
You'll
I
be,
would have to
yeah,
build a shed
yeah.
for my little pottery wheel. Anyway,
Build a
great
shed, buy a
pot,
shed. Somebody's already built a
right?
shed. They can just bring it to you. Like,
Okay, don't come for me. I wanted to build a shed.
all right, we'll build it. Then fine, then build a shed. But if it's like, I always got to think about like, how much do I get paid an hour? How long will this take me? Will it be
Look,
cheaper to just get it from somewhere else? But no,
look.
if you want to enjoy the process of shed building, then go right to it.
No, literally no. No, what I would do is I would pay somebody at Home Depot to put it in the back of their truck and bring
Yeah,
it to me.
yeah, yeah. That's, I mean,
Yeah,
that's, you created a job.
exactly. I stimulated an economy.
There you go. Take that,
Um,
economy.
but yeah. Oh man, the Great Pottery Throwdown. It's wholesome. It's like, oh man, the guy who's the kiln master, so I'm
Mhm.
only in like the second season. The guy who's the kiln master is like just this really good, like he's like, this one's gonna bust because they didn't do this thing while he's putting it in the kiln, and like they're not around
Oh,
to like
wow.
know these things, and he's just making all these observations, and I'm like, man, the expertise, the competence that he has,
Right.
oh, just chef's kiss. Ah.
No, when you put that in the notes, I was like, "I'm gonna check that out. That sounds right up my alley."
Right, it's
Like
just so great
I'm like,
while you're typing or whatever, put it
right.
on the background.
Nice,
Yeah.
wholesome content that I can enjoy watching. It's soothing, and I don't it's not political. It's not I'm
Mhm.
not having to
And,
review it. Like
like, the analogous to the Paul Hollywood handshake is whatever the man, I think his name's Keith or whatever, he will be so moved by a piece of pottery that he will start crying. He will start
wow.
weeping. And, like, the first like, I was like the first couple of times I was like, this is a little much," but, like, after a few times, I'm like, "No, man, he's genuinely moved
Right.
by the glaze on this piece of ceramic. What the fuck?"
Like, come on, guy, tone it down.
Just take it down. Just take it down by
Tone
20%,
it down
man.
a bit. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a whole lot of Habs recaps other than like we talked about, second vaccine.
Mhm. Woo-woo.
So that's over and done with. So I'm living in a vaccinated house,
Mhm.
and pretty soon all of the ladies in the lady chat will be fully vaccinated, and then we get to go on our ladies' weekend,
Woot, woot.
which I'm so excited about. I can't even describe to you how excited I am just to see other people.
I've written it in my calendar probably 4 times. Like
Yeah, yeah. I'm not kidding. I've already packed my bathing suits. I've packed them. Don't want to forget them, as if I would ever forget them. But I'm like, nope, pack the bathing suits because there's a pool. I'm gonna go get in it.
I'm glad you mentioned bathing suits. I assumed we would all be nude, quite frankly. Just
Oh, I'll do that too. The bathing suits are for y'all. If y'all need them, I'll put them on. As we were talking about earlier before we started, to hide the translucent skin of mine so you don't get to
Per
see all of my veins.
exactly.
It's just for you. I mean, I know they're there.
This
Um,
boob vein is just for me. No one
exactly.
else
Like
should
these
be able
spider
to see it.
veins are mine. They're my personal magic. Gross.
Oh.
Anyway, I guess the biggest thing that's happened to me in the past couple weeks is I finally bought a new car. Yeah, yeah, thank you. It was quite an ordeal. I I've been wanting to buy a new car because I've been driving a Honda Fit for 10, 11 years, and I love the
Mhm,
Fit. It was
mhm,
such a good car. It got me to Canada and back, but it was so small, and I'm getting so old, and it's so low to the ground. And enough people in my life have approached me and said, if anyone hits you in that car, you're gonna die because there's
wow.
nothing in between you.
Mhm,
And I mean, it had like that engine crash impact redirect thing.
mhm,
Fuck all that. It's not gonna work. I'm gonna be
mhm,
dead because it would be right. Like there's no protection, and I'm right under. I would
mhm,
probably like drive underneath one car, get beheaded, and then crash into another. So I traded in the Fit, and I've been working to make sure that my credit score was perfect before I went, so I could
mhm,
walk on up in there and be like, I've got a credit score that's fantastic. Give me a
mhm,
new loan. And of course they did. They
mhm,
are happy to do that. But I got there at 9 o'clock to test drive because the car I wanted, I wanted all these extra bells and whistles on it. And when I did that with
mhm,
the Fit, they didn't I didn't pay for it until they got all the bells and whistles done.
mhm,
Now that I had this trade in, I didn't even really think about it because I'd never traded a car in before. So I go in at 9 o'clock to do a test drive thinking we're going to talk about it. And then I'm going to say, okay, so at this date, you'll get that car ready. I'll come bring the Fit and we'll trade
mhm,
off and, I'll be done with it. No, because they don't want me to wreck the Fit in
mhm,
between when they get the stuff to put on it. So they had the car that I was looking for on the lot with the color I was looking for on the lot. They ordered all the extras. They're not going to be here till next week.
mhm.
And so I had to say goodbye to the Fit right then and there. And it was one of those moments like, oh, wait,
Oh,
I wasn't
no.
prepared today. And like I said, got there at 9 o'clock and didn't leave until 2:30. And they kept
Jeez.
offering me beverages. And I'm like, bring a bitch a sandwich. Like beverage is nothing. I've been here all day. I didn't eat anything before I came here. I'm starving. I'm hangry. But But yeah, so it was very good. I got all the stuff I wanted. And I said, so what are you guys gonna do at the fit? And they were like, oh, she's pretty old. And I was like, no, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, we're gonna chop her up and sell her for parts. And I was like, no, all the stickers on the back, my fit. But it's fine. But no, and I love my new car. And we thought about you last night because I made Roger go with me to Costco late at night. I'm going to Costco. You want to go? And he's like, yes. It's okay. I picked him up. We went to Costco and got caught in another storm. So he and I together in cars means we're the rainmakers. We bring rain.
Love it.
Heavy storms. And so when the new car, I'm driving down the interstate and like blinding rain. Well, when windshield wipers work, that's good. I went from a V4 to a V6. This engine actually is a car. Like I feel like I'm actually in a vehicle as opposed to the Fit where it was like, it's kind of a car. I mean, it's car-ish.
Yeah.
So that's been very exciting, but also very emotionally draining. For some reason, big decisions and big changes like that. And, for some reason, I think having to have it sprung on me, like, no, get it now because you're gonna just have to come back and start this whole process over again if you don't. And it wasn't like a tactic to like get me to, I was going to buy the car anyway, in that specific car, but it was all that sort of stuff just emotionally drains me. And then from Easter weekend where I was not doing so well from the shot, where I lost basically 3 days and then took up all of Wednesday getting the car. I'm real behind. And I got behind on my Falcon Winter Soldier review. I got behind on work. And so it's now this whole weekend has been a big weekend of catch up and all that. So that's basically what I've been up to. So,
I mean, that last bit gave me like secondhand anxiety.
Yes.
Because I know exactly like that feeling of like, oh, I'm behind and I have to catch up on the weekend. Yeah,
it's the worst. And I started a murder trial Monday.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have basically 2 weeks, 2-week murder trial.
Oh, yay.
But I get to go have lunch in my new car. So I mean, and I'm not on trial. I didn't kill anybody that you know of. So I don't really have anything to complain about. I mean, nothing really basically changed for me. I could have the same workplace and stay the same amount of time. It's just the stakes are a little bit different for everybody else involved.
Oh yeah.
I was saying it to Roger. I was like, oh, I'm nervous. I got a murder trial on Monday. He's like, no, you got a court report on Monday. He goes, imagine having to prepare for the murder trial. Starts on Monday. And I was like, okay, great. I mean, you're right.
I don't feel bad for him. You went to that fancy law school. You got it.
I know. Well, Roger's he's a good lawyer, but I know I couldn't imagine like having to defend someone's actual life.
Right? No, that does.
Yeah.
I mean,
that sounds like opening statements. Your Honor, a jury. Why in the hell would my defendant do that? He didn't do it. Let's go home.
He ain't do shit.
He ain't do nothing. Anyhow, all right. Well, then let's talk about the topic at hand.
Let's do it.
We actually have one. This is so exciting. Thank you again for coming up with this. So talking about running a role-playing campaign, being in a role-playing campaign with your significant other, maybe your significant other's running it, maybe you're in the campaign with people who are in couples. There can be some great situations and there can be some not so great situations. So what made you want to or think about this topic?
Right. So I think I mentioned it a little bit in the intro that Kevin and I are starting a 5th edition campaign. And this is there's 11 players. Okay. Right?
Yikes.
Right? Okay.
Oh,
so
God.
Apparently this group has done this before and they end up having 2 parties. But
Okay.
like the story kind of interweaves together.
Okay.
And there might be some overlap once in a while, but it would be pretty rare. But yeah, it's like we're all in the same world, but it's going to be 2 different parties. And actually, this will be the first time that I'm not in a couple scenario in a party
Right.
because Kevin and I have children and we don't want to have to pay a babysitter because we're cheap. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm going to be doing one in one party and he's in another party. And I was like, huh,
Oh,
this is a
okay.
dynamic that I've never really like been in. And it's looking like I'm actually going to be the only lady at the table as well.
Ooh. Right, use that
So
to your advantage. You can be like, I know I rolled a 2, but
but
there's
look
got
at
to be
these
a couple
naturals.
of I know there's got to be a couple of bonuses around here somewhere.
Poor Kevin, he's gonna listen to this and be like, "You better not do that."
Hey man, sometimes you fail a will save and you're gonna die. You're gonna bleed out.
I don't want to die.
You're gonna get led astray.
Kevin, I spent hours with this character and her backstory. I don't want to do it
Right.
again.
But no, so okay, that sounds super complicated. But if you're not, if they're gonna be, what is it gonna be like 5 in one, 6 in the other?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, and on different days. So that's
different days.
not as terrifying. I thought it was gonna be 11 people piled up in one room trying to talk over each
Right?
other.
Imagine Roy Cooper doesn't even acknowledge. Wait, like we can't even do that yet. So
Let's say this. Roy Cooper said no.
He said no.
Call the police.
He said this D&D campaign is offline. Let's not do this.
Oh God. Well, that's cool. What?
Right? So that got me thinking about couple dynamics and everything, and like the fact that we're just talking about it like basically nonstop because we're both excited about it, and what that actually does to the campaign, like what that actually, how that colors it, me being so informed on his thought process and him being informed on mine.
Right.
And I'm like, that really does change the dynamic for a DM, right? Like,
yeah,
if you have two like, and this person's gonna have three sets of couples. So
this person's gonna have no secrets, no in-game secrets.
There will be no in-game secrets. I think will be a little different because again, Kevin and I are in different parties. But if he's trying to keep secrets from the parties, like Kevin
that won't happen.
We're chatty bitches. We don't keep like
yeah. Somebody's gonna spill the beans.
Somebody will. I know it'll especially be me.
I know at least one person will be spilling the beans. That person is me.
That person's me. Because I love to chat.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't keep those kind of secrets. If you killed somebody, I can keep that secret. But I can't keep a secret if it was in game. No, I gotta tell everybody.
Right. So it really got me thinking, and I really just to go on a little bit more, I started thinking about all the couples that I've ever been in game scenarios with. And so one of the first games I ever played was an Exalted game, which is a White Wolf property. If that tells you how long ago this was, I guess. I know. And Exalted is like, it's high fantasy, but like you are super powerful. You are OP. Your player character is OP. And my boyfriend at the time's high school friends were running it. So the husband of that relationship was the DM, and his wife was a player character. His wife's sister was a player character, and then it was me and my boyfriend. And we would roll up to game night like every other week, and I don't know if I should get like them pseudonyms, but the couple, the DM and the player character, had like these like pages of notes of stuff they've just done outside of the actual campaign, like of our actual sessions.
Like what they've been doing in the meantime?
Right. So like you could, do like a write-up, that's fine. But she got the special treatment of doing it with the DM.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So that would piss me off. I would be like, hey.
So she would go in and like it got to a point where we sat down and she had more experience
Mm-hmm.
than everyone else in her actual, like, the digits on her sheet
Well, now
for
wait a damn
experience.
minute.
Because he would grade those, like, it was so stupid. He would grade the, like, between session kind of, like, reports with how, like, detailed they were and what you did, and divvy out experience based on that.
What if
And
you have a real
because
life in between
right?
gaming?
And because she was with the DM every night and they've got the grid fucking set out and, like, they're looking at it every day, they'd be, making
Yeah, I
dinner
don't like that.
together.
I don't like
Right.
that. I don't like it at all.
And so I think that was the most extreme, like facing I don't know if there's like a slang term for it or something where it's, you know, you're dating the DM and so you get special treatment.
You'd be like, it's like being God's favorite.
Yeah,
We should
I would
call
say
it
that.
like the Jesus thing. And when or something like, if
You're sleeping
you
with
get
the
to have
boss, like
right, like if you get to have God's ear and
mhm,
suggest things, yeah, that would piss me off.
it
Nerds, this is
was
why people don't like us. Like
right.
this is why.
And I know that not every couple does that, obviously. And I've been a couple in literally every game that I've ever done.
Hmm.
So like I'm as guilty of these things as anything, but that just the fact that she had like an actual in-game benefit that wasn't the subtle like, oh,
I'll let you do the
no,
thing, even
I'll
though
let
you
you do the
probably shouldn't have,
thing. Yeah.
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 So it's interesting you say that because I'm trying to think back. There's the one core gaming group with friends to the show, Mark and JJ,
Mhm.
who where Mark was typically the DM. And the great thing about that campaign, and I've been in couples in that campaign. I have been married to Mark's NPCs multiple times.
Mhm.
But he and JJ, it did not seem like they talked about it
Mhm.
outside of the room because JJ didn't want to be spoiled.
Mhm.
And when she was running it, I don't think she would have ever told Mark anything when she was
Mhm.
DMing because she's not gonna, she's strong-willed. She's not gonna fall. But when I was married to the DM, my ex-husband, when he was DMing, I wouldn't, he would like try to tell me stuff and I'd be like, no, 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 no,
Mhm.
no, no, because I wanted to be surprised along with everybody else. Because the whole fun of playing role-playing games for me is that us all figuring something out at the same time or being
Mhm.
surprised.
Mhm.
And God, I've had several boyfriends who've run campaigns. I date a certain type, but I never want to know.
Mhm.
And one particular boyfriend actually made things harder on me because he thought that would be more fun, that it would be like
Mhm.
some sort of like flirty like foreplay thing. And
He was negging you. He was DM
yeah,
negging you.
and I fucking hated it. Um,
Mhm.
it was one of those. It was one of those sort of situations where this is the sort of D&D player I am. I follow the rules. If I can't talk my way out of a situation, um, then I will. If I've lost something, I will try to at least reason, like factually about it. And there's this giant guy. Pause, because this is a tiny little story. There was this giant bad guy who was
Mhm.
writing like a nightmare or something, and he took up the the 4 squares, and like fully, he took up
Mhm.
four squares in the grid or octagons, whatever in hell, and he diamonds, and he threw up this smoke that also only occupied those 4 squares. And I had
Mhm.
a bow and arrow that was magical because I was an elf. It was
Mhm.
beautiful. And I
Mhm.
had buffed this bow to the point where it was masterwork. And I got 6 shots from it. I could fire 6 arrows virtually at once. It was one behind the other, but virtually at once. So my damage pool was huge. And
Mhm.
I got 6 opportunities to hit. And I understand that when they threw up the smoke, I couldn't tell where he was. But
Uh-huh.
because he is so big,
Uh-huh.
I just shot into the center of the smoke
Mhm.
and I couldn't hit him because the smoke would keep me from hitting him because I couldn't see him.
Uh-huh.
And I nearly killed someone that day because I said physics tells us
Mhm.
like I can't
Mhm.
call a shot. I can't aim for his heart. I can't aim for his head. I can't try to hit him in the eye, which I could do if I could see him. I
Yeah.
said, so I'll give up my called shot bonuses. but he's still in the same square space and he takes up all of it. If I fire into the center of it, there's no way he could get away from it. And he was like, yeah, you can, because the smoke is magical. And I'm like, well, you're less than magical and you suck. I was livid. Like, but he did that on purpose. Like any other DM would have been like, you're right, and just taken negatives to it. But his whole thing, like, you didn't hit him at all. And I'm like, you go stand in a closet and let me shoot into the closet. I don't know where you are in the closet, but if I get to shoot 6 times, I bet I'm gonna hit you once. Like, you're in a confined space.
Right? Oh
So
my God.
I was livid. And somewhere listening to this is some DM person who's like, well, that technically, actually, don't bring that shit to me.
Well, what you need to do is you need to go to the Patreon, subscribe, and then come to the Discord and we'll talk about it. If that's
There you go.
If you feel so strongly we need to chat, you gotta pay first.
You gotta pay at least $3. Look, that Discord makes me so happy, and I've been away from it this week because of all the stuff going on. Paris is in there, her and Roger and David Finehammer and Will. How many times do you get mentioned this episode, Will? There's a new Patreon people. Like, it can get in there and get hopping, and y'all are some funny meme sharing mofos. I'm so delighted with that Discord. Anyway,
it was a good decision. Good decision.
So get everybody in one place.
Love it.
So so let's talk about because that is a thing, knowing more, like being able to have a sort of it's almost like, how you get 6 seconds to communicate in a turn. Like you've got, 6 seconds to say something.
Yeah.
If you're in a couple, it's like playing Pictionary with a couple. Like you can communicate so much more effectively. Like, you can say things that don't mean anything to other, that, like in real life, and convey, get your point across much quicker than 2 people who are not in a relationship.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's like little benefits like that to it. One of the things that I definitely want to touch on, having had this happen to me several times, especially in the old Mark and JJ gaming group campaigns of old, like back in the early 2000s. When couples fight during the game and storm out together, or when one part of the couple will suddenly, I don't know, first day, their character tries to kill my character, and because they're mad at me for some reason, which of course, I never know why people are mad at me. And so I'm like, what's happening? And so the wife repeatedly tries to kill my brand new character, and ends up, the DM, like Mark, has to put her in a coma to be like, what in the fuck? What is going on? And then the husband steps up and basically is like, oh, Kelly's a terrible person. We're leaving. But Kelly's a terrible person. She has to leave the role-playing game. And I'm like, I don't know how you think this works. I get the friends in the divorce, motherfuckers.
Always.
I'm sorry. They don't like y'all, no way. It's a step, and they like me. I'm annoying, but they keep me around. So like that happened with this one particular couple several times, so much so that we made the joke that they packed up their My Little Pony tea sets and went home. And so then like that led to years of My Little Pony tea set jokes, but that's real uncomfortable. And then sometimes they would fight with each other, this same couple. Mark and JJ never fight. They never like, they're pretty a perfect couple to play with in role playing, because they don't talk to each other. They don't give each other like help or hints. And it's all even keel. And so that was always good. But this other couple, at one point, they got into a fight with each other during a game, and this is a game that my ex-boyfriend was running. And the wife stands up, and this is before she tried to kill me in another campaign. She stands up and she's like, we have to leave right now because you have to buy shoes. And so he gets like in the middle of a game, and like we had gone through all this trouble to arrange it and everything, and they just stood up, and because they were pissed at each other, and I was like, we got to get rid of them. And I think that's why they tried to kill me. Didn't work. Anyway, that shit's annoying. Like, nobody wants to see you fight. Nobody wants to see you argue. Like, first of all, nerds are scared to be out and around other people anyway. And you got a whole bunch of geeks sitting around a table, and then like somebody starts fighting, and it's like, I don't know where to look. I don't know what to do. We're just gonna go off here and to the side and let you guys
a bunch
fight
of
it out.
conflict averse folks. Like,
Yeah.
nerds just hate conflict anyway, which makes me laugh that we all do these role-playing games where there's every conflict in them.
What's
But
pretend
like,
conflict? Yeah.
it's pretend conflict.
Right.
Exactly, to get out. And we don't want to see your real conflict. You leave that shit in the car. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Or just cancel. I mean, like
just
everybody has
cancel.
fights and stuff, but still, that's
Mhm.
that's the worst. But yeah, and that and the telling of the secrets as a DM, I think it would be really annoying that you have to deal
Mhm.
with the fact that you can tell this person a secret, but they're gonna tell the other person. Because I
Yeah.
mean, like I don't know if I would tell I would talk about my character constantly, but I would keep the secret.
Uh-huh.
If my partner was playing in the game, I would keep the
Mhm.
secrets. I wouldn't want my partner to know the secret because I
Well,
could
I
use it
know
to my
that
advantage.
you've DM'd
Hmm.
um like at least one game where me and Kevin were in it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like I know that you've had to have DM'd with other couples as well. Like I'm not really DM'd anything more than like one shot things where it really didn't matter because like it was a gift to Kevin to play instead of DM and he'd
right.
already read the scenario because he reads all fucking scenarios. Why the fuck do you do that anyway?
That's weird.
Um
He shouldn't have done that. That's his own fault.
he reads every single scenario ever created ever and then it can never be surprised. So anyway,
Yeah.
so you've DM'd, and I'm very interested to hear the DM's perspective.
So I haven't DM'd that often. I've DM'd just two times, two campaigns.
Mhm.
One of which I was really young and I didn't know what I was doing, and I ended up quitting because I was frustrated with the
Uh-huh.
players because they were smarter than I was with the gaming mechanics, and so I was like, oh, this sucks. The one that the second one I did, it was the Mass Effect campaign, and
Mhm.
your characters were married in
Yeah.
game, so that made it
Yeah,
easy
they
because
were.
because they would have talked to each other anyway, and I think
Mhm.
that's a good workaround. If you're going to be
Mhm.
couples that play in a game and you're going to be talking to each other anyway, you might as well have some sort of really like deep connection to each other
Mhm.
already, like at least be friends, where it would make
Yeah.
sense that you would be like, hey, I've been possessed by Cthulhu, you might go and tell them that. Um, as opposed to, you wouldn't want to tell anybody. But yeah,
That's
so
what I
that
whisper to Kevin before we go to bed, just like right before we have sex. Just I've been possessed by Cthulhu. That's like his like
that makes it
trigger.
better for
Like
him.
woo.
Yeah.
It
It's
does.
like, let's go. Real yeah, real yeah. Like, but yeah, so
I
that
don't
I
even
mean that
remember. Is it IE?
it's IE or real yeah, I know is one of the real yeah, something Cthulhu Cathog I don't know. I'm not trying to
Katagan. I
summon
don't.
an old one here. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
so whoever is like driving in their car, gripping their steering wheel because we're getting it wrong, go to
Oh,
Patreon
right.
and spend $3 so that you can complain on the Discord.
Or better yet, have David Feinhammer, like he did in episode 67, which I've finally gone back and re-listened to, fellas
Mhm.
who wanted me to, where he referred to me as when he's angry, driving, listening to the podcast.
Uh-huh.
You simple cow. He refers to me as a simple cow because he's so mad. There's another one of those moments,
That's fine.
just trying to keep you engaged.
Mhm.
Um,
It's a roller coaster of emotions over here and mating habits.
um,
Woo!
a roller coaster of emotions and the most uncomfortable seat I've ever sat on. I just tell you,
Mm.
that's why I keep moving. I'm like, oh, my butt
Oh
hurts.
yeah.
Gotta figure something out. I want to get a gaming chair, but you know
Ooh.
my apartment. Where
Oh
am I gonna
yeah.
put it?
Under a cat. I don't know.
hey, hey, wonder if I could put it in that corner where I just if you're listening to this or watching it, just go get a drink. The corner where I have that rattan chair. I could put it in that
Ooh.
corner
Yeah.
and like throw a throw over it because I want to get like a hot pink gamer chair.
Ooh. I would love that.
I may have figured it out.
Kind
Success.
of. Yes.
So, anyway, what else do we need to talk about this? I have something very interesting to share. And this, before we
Mhm.
got on, I was trying to find who the author was and I couldn't find it, but there's a PDF that I'll link to, and I'll try to put it somewhere on the website. I don't know how you hide or put a PDF on a website. or I'll just no, I won't even have to do that. I'll send you the PDF and I'll just link to where I got the PDF. Solutions. It's late at night. So someone, and I could not find out who, did this supplement. It's called the 5e Guide to Sex, and it's for 5th edition D&D, and it is a sort of a comprehensive, what different species can breed with other species, are they even sexually compatible, are they reproductively compatible, how do they have, what's their gestation, how do they have babies, what do their private parts look like it's really, it's supposed to be sort of erotic, but it's really data-based. I love it. It's very scientific in the fact that these things don't exist. And so, and it looks legit. Like the charts and stuff look legit, but that, like, Wizards of the Coast didn't do it. But yeah, I'll link that. It's very cool. I was like, this would be a good supplement if you want to play a actual adult couple in the game. And you can, like, actually, like, if you're a half orc and they're a tiefling, can you guys even do it? Like, can you guys have babies? How long would it take? How many babies would you have? There's all kinds of, also, like, they're not feats, they might be skills. They're either skeets or fills. Skeets or fills.
Skeets. Sorry.
They're either clay pigeons or Phillips. They're either feats or skills, but they're sexual in nature. So it's so cute. Like, it's a fun read, even if you aren't going to use it in your campaign. So I'll put a link to that in there. But also in that same sort of vein, we are living in the times where the Lil Nas X Montero video has been released, and pearls have been clutched all over the nation and the world. It's a good song, and if you don't know, you live under a rock. But he did a video, and he's a gay Black artist, and the video is a political statement about how the church has told him he's going to burn in hell, and so he's going to take a stripper pole down to hell and do a lap dance for the devil and then kill the devil and then rule hell, which I think's badass. But people are upset about it, and someone posted something that was like, would you rather he twerk on God? Like, I don't understand what you're mad about. Like, what? Like, would you rather he was down there twerking on Jesus? That upset you too. Like, what? Pick a side, people.
At least this is on brand for Satan. Like,
right. Like, who are you offended for? Like, I don't understand. And he kills the devil. Like, you should be applauding that. Anyway, but someone made a fiend, a fiend character based on his. They drew him based on his, like, now he's a devil in hell. They gave him stats to play as a fiend character in 5th edition.
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
So that's cool. So I'll post a link to that too, because it's just so cool. Another thing that I looked up that I'll add in the show notes is there's this little page out there called dndduet.com, and it is a resource for a romantic 2-person D&D campaign, like an intro to D&D. So if you're trying to get your partner into D&D, this is a small module. They tell you how to in a very easy, unthreatening, like, read these 7 source books and you got 153 points to spend, figure it out, because that sort of stuff is not the way to get someone who doesn't already play RPGs to play RPGs. It's a nice sort of, like, gateway drug to get your partner interested, and then bring them along for the buying all the dice and spending all your time playing world. So I thought that was really cute. They put a lot of effort into it, and it looked like it was a cute little 5th edition module. So
awesome.
So yeah,
I was looking at that, and that sounds like a lot of fun to, like, especially now. I mean, I guess people are starting to branch out, but I could have seen that being very useful earlier in the pandemic, when you're just like, well, I gotta look at your face for the next 12 months exclusively.
Let's go kill a bunch of kobolds.
Let's do it. Oh man, I did the sex thing made me think of this, and I was discussing this topic with Kevin, because there are no secrets. We're bad table no table secrets in casa in our house.
Right.
But I was talking, and he was like, oh, there's this big scandal of this big Twitch, I guess moderate Twitch guy who made a decent income doing D&D, and like he narrated this rape scene of a character that was playing. And so Kevin mentioned like what consent might look like when you
Mm-hmm.
are so you're a couple, and say like in the campaign that we were playing that you were DMing the Fate, I think Fate,
It was
is
Fate
that what
system.
it was
Yeah.
called?
Yeah.
Fate system.
Yeah.
Um, like if we would have been like, okay, now we're gonna have a sex scene, like that would have been very uncomfortable.
Right.
Like for some people, if there was no like whatever, you do what you want to if everyone's consenting in the room. But
Right.
like
Yeah. You can't just
there's
spring that on
that.
people.
No, you can't just spring it on people, and like, maybe you can just do a duet D&D, 5th edition thing and just keep that to yourself.
Well, I mean, we had a situation sort of like that, and it wasn't necessarily a situation where we would be worried about consent because
Mhm,
the how close we were with everyone in the room.
mhm,
But there was a time where I was playing a 1920s prostitute in a Cthulhu campaign,
mhm,
and the DM more so than not more so than I wanted to, but I was kind of like, the people, it's gonna gross people out. There were certain elements of the her going out and picking up John's
mhm,
thing that he wanted to play out, and not in like
uh-huh.
a creepy way, but in like
Yeah,
a, because those some of those Johns were demons, or
uh-huh.
like or were old ones and stuff, and so like it had a story purpose. But there
Mhm.
was a part where it was like, like he's like, hey, now that we're back in your room, and I'm like, can we just skip this part? Like this, like your wife's right there. Like, are we gonna do that? Like, I'll do it. You know me. I'll be like, like
Oh, yeah.
I'll get into explicit graphic detail, but we had not checked with everybody that it was going to be
Mhm.
okay. And it is also unfair to then be like, oh, everyone's okay with this, right? Because no one wants to be uncool
Yeah.
at the moment and be like, well, actually, I'm a little bit grossed out. Like that's really
Mhm,
difficult for people to say. So if you're going to do something like that, I think that not that I mean, I think we just organically were like, this is weird. Let's stop. But
mhm,
if you're going to, especially now that we're starting to, see other people as human beings, who have feelings and rights and stuff. If you're going to do something like that, I think everyone has to know ahead of time and
mhm.
allow them to, over private email or private chat, tell you if they're okay with it or not. And
Yeah, and
also, if it's not going to add to the story, I would still say don't do it, because people still
mhm,
might be like, oh, yeah, it's totally fine. And then they get there and they're like, I'm actually
mhm,
really uncomfortable seeing these people talk about their sex life or act out this stuff. Now, if you have a bunch of kinky friends and y'all want to get together and just do nothing but like role play over the table about like sex acts,
mhm.
you know where to email me. I'm down.
Yeah.
Like, I want to come, I want to be part of that. I'll Zoom over. We'll do
Mhm,
it over Zoom. But I think that has to be something that's kind of upfront and agreed upon, because you can just get into some really uncomfortable territory, and definitely anything like I would never narrate a rape scene.
right.
I
Yeah.
would definitely have a rape scene that occurred, but it would not be a scene that people got that played out. It would
Mhm,
stop at one point and then there would be an aftermath after. Because that's just gratuitous and uncomfortable for everybody,
mhm.
in my opinion.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
So what
I
happened to
I
the Twitch
think
guy?
I think that he basically stepped away
Hmm.
after, like, he's like, "Okay, I'll no longer do Twitch." I don't know what he's doing now, and I didn't, like, Google this or anything to then fact check this story or
Oh,
make
no,
sure
no, no.
that my details are right, but, like, as far as I'm aware, as far as Kevin's aware, he, like,
He's off
sensed the
Twitch.
backlash and just off Twitch, yeah.
Or was he the guy that Twitch got rid of him? I think
It
I think
might be
Twitch
that.
Twitch may have dropped, because somebody recently Twitch dropped and they were like, I can't believe you dropped me. And I'm like, I can't believe you didn't read the terms and agreements of Twitch. They're a private platform. They can do what they want. If they don't
Real.
want to endorse you on their platform, sorry, you're gone. They don't owe you anything.
So, yeah, like,
Yeah.
if anyone wants to correct the story, you can go to the Patreon and spend $3. Join us on the
$3.
Discord. Just $3, and you can tell me I'm wrong to my face.
That's right. You can with cute emojis and get in
I
on the
know,
get in on
right?
the memeage.
The
Um,
memeage.
yeah.
Oh man. No, I think the only time it ever got uncomfortable, and this was a campaign that Kevin was DMing, and you were
Hmm.
there too. And I think your you were with one of your exes, and
Which one? You gotta want to narrow it down. I'm just kidding. I
one of
know which
them
one you're talking about.
one of them one of them boys, one of those mans that you were
Yes.
with,
Yes.
um the couple that we were DMing with. So like I was playing a man, and I don't normally role play a man
Mhm.
because I don't care to. I just don't. And so I was joking that I don't know how men act, so I'm just gonna put my dick on things. That was like all of my jokes.
Right.
And so the female the couple like thought that was funny,
Yeah.
but our good friend was dating this lady at the time who didn't know where to end a joke, and
Yes.
so she crocheted me this giant penis, and that's
Yeah.
fine. That was fine. All of
Yeah.
that was fine. It was when she handed it to me and said, "Well, I'm not seeing many penises, so this is modeled off of blank friend."
Yes.
And so I'm holding this huge pink crocheted penis, looking at a really good like one of Kevin's best friend,
Right.
like he officiated my wedding.
Right. Right.
The sculpture of his penis.
Right. Not to scale.
Not to scale. No, not to hope. I don't know. Jesus Lord, if it's to scale, you
Ooh.
need to go to the doctor.
Good Lord.
But yeah, just like I was like, I'm no longer gonna put my dick on things in the campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it only takes one person to take it too far where it's like, man,
was
now this
fun.
is ruined.
Now I feel weird rapey vibes towards Phil whenever I with this. He did
Oh,
not consent.
no. He was uncomfortable too. I remember that.
He was so uncomfortable.
He was very like, oh no.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you got to be smart about that kind of stuff. And also too, as a couple, I pretty much talk like I do on the podcast in real life.
Mhm.
But you have to go through the trouble of downloading this. You don't
Mhm.
like, this isn't gonna just somehow like you're just walking along and I'm like, welcome to episode whatever, mating. Like you gotta make a choice. And you can stop listening
Yeah.
at any time.
Mhm.
Even I will not in a campaign get to like I'll make innuendo jokes, but I'm
Mhm.
not gonna get like gross with people that I don't seriously that I even either
Mhm.
already slept with or like I'm seriously good friends with.
Mhm.
Because you don't know where anybody's level is. You don't know where anybody's like, like hard line is. And I never want to embarrass anybody or make anyone feel uncomfortable. It's why most of like my jokes are about myself and about things that
Mhm.
are happening or have happened to me are happening
Mhm.
at this moment. No, it's but yeah, so you got to really be careful about that stuff, especially if you're in a couple talking about your partner, thinking everything's
Mhm.
okay, and now they're sitting at a round table with people looking at them now knowing, oh, she's saying this is what my dick looks like.
Mhm.
Yikes. You know?
Ooh,
Maybe this is something we wanted to share on a Sunday afternoon. God, it just
it's like
reminded me of all the snacks I used to make.
the Charleston chews,
The Charleston shoes. Oh my God, are
right?
you going to be making snacks for this other team? This other group of gamers?
I'm probably not, quite frankly. I
Good.
ain't got no time. I ain't got no
Good.
time.
Because you're all slicing up cucumbers and making out fancy dips for other people. I'm going to be pissed. I'm not going to have time to come over. I'm going to be pissed. Just know, every time you make a fancy dip with someone that isn't me, that I'm here just like,
Grr.
those are my
Well,
dips.
I got news for you. We made a fancy dip tonight at dinner. So
That's my table
yeah.
flip. Mark out my old table flip. Here's my new. People having fancy dips without me. Fucking pandemic.
Man, that's the best part of gaming with folks is the
Mhm.
spread. Like, I love putting it together. I love
Yeah.
snacking on it during.
So much
I mean,
snacks.
I guess it's and you don't really even have to clean up because when it's a good spread, it's gone at the end.
There's nothing to clean up. I remember one time
Nope.
Kevin made bacon with praline stuff on it.
Oh
Praline
yeah.
bacon. Almost
Oh
punched him
man,
in the face.
that was so good.
Oh God, it was so good. I was talking about Kevin's beef jerky to Roger the other day. We were eating beef jerky. We were doing a law laughs, eating beef jerky, and I was like, you know what makes good beef jerky? Kevin. He's like, Kevin makes beef jerky? It's amazing.
Kevin's on. Honestly, like I gotta talk to that boy about jerking his meat around my house. Like he just Constantly jerkying.
So good.
It is so good.
And it's jerky you can eat because
Mhm.
it's dried like flavorful meats that you can still
Mhm.
bite into, and it's
Yeah.
not like like
It's not
jerky
like
from the store
or
where
jerky
you're
like
like,
store. Oh yeah. Or like sometimes you get that, friend who's got venison jerky and you're like, "Yeah, I'll have one." And then you're like 3 days later still chewing on the same piece like, "Man, this is good jerky."
this is why there are no deer burgers at McDonald's. Um, venison is a very very tricky meat.
Tricky,
That should
tricky.
be put that on my headstone.
Venison's a very tricky meat.
Venison is a very tricky meat. When prepared correctly, delicious. All other times, why am I chewing on this shoe? Um,
But not to beat a dead horse, but I also wanted to point out one other issue of coupling and D&Ding or
mhm,
whatever role play. And this tends to be in cis-het couples or cisgender heterosexual for those not in the know.
right.
Um it especially when one of the couples is the man. I'm just gonna say it. The man knows more about the game, the
Yeah.
scenario, the rules than the woman. There's a lot of times that I've dealt with, and Kevin doesn't really do this anymore, but when we started dating, he did. And there's the damsel in distress. Like, my
Yes.
character is encountering something, and he feels obligated more so than he would if I was just a run of a mill party member.
Right.
Like, but since it's his wife's character, I guess at that time his girlfriend's character, he wanted
Mhm.
to be like, no, I don't want her to die. She'll then hate the game, you know, so I'm going to do something stupid,
Right.
or I'm going to do some table talk, or I'm going to do something that impacts the game for everyone else. And
Yeah.
I don't know, sometimes that's fine, like, you know, whatever, but it did, especially a previous boyfriend that I had, he did that quite frequently. And I was like, I guess I can do any stupid shit that I want to. And I really do see it a lot in one couple that I've played with before, where one member of the couple is just they just do batshit stuff,
Yeah.
and constantly the other one's trying to clean up their mess. And I'm like, if
Yeah.
you weren't married, you would not be cleaning up this character's mess.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
That has never been an issue for me as far as playing with any couple I'm in, because the
Mhm.
sort of relationship dynamics that I like is that if I'm in a relationship with someone, I want us to play opposing characters that don't like each other,
Mhm.
even maybe hate each other, so that we fight all the time, and then later we kiss. Like that's
Ooh.
that's what I want to play. I don't need you to come help me, kill this thing. I got it.
Yeah.
I got a magical sword too. I got
Mm-mm.
tricks up my sleeve. Yeah, no, I get that. That's
Mhm.
it's patronizing.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, I also, in that same vein, I don't like it when because I had this problem because I need to learn things visually and learn them the hard way.
Mhm.
And I had lots of boyfriends who would do my math for me.
Mm.
And it got to be where I was in my fifth, sixth, RPG, and I didn't know how to do my own character sheet because my boyfriend always did it for me because math is hard for
Yeah.
me. And so I'd just be like, you do it.
Yeah.
And so then when I would play and I was single, I would get JJ to do it. I'd be like,
Uh-huh.
JJ, be my boyfriend, do my character sheet. And it got to a point where maybe like 10 years ago, I was like,
Mhm.
I'm a grown ass woman. I can do my own damn character sheet. If these people can do it, I
Mhm.
can do it. And I actually sat down and learned how to do it. And it was
Mhm.
like, I should have been knowing how to do this since 96 when I started playing. It's but somebody always
Mhm.
wanted to offer to do it for me to be nice. They weren't trying to be mean or patronizing to me. They're trying to be nice and
Right.
helpful. Because I'm looking at it
Right.
like, and I've always have 1,000
Mhm.
questions when I'm making a character sheet. I'm always like,
Mhm.
so did I do this right? And I'll submit it to the DM and go, what do you think? Did I do it right every time? Because I want them,
Uh-huh.
there could be something I'm just not understanding, or that they,
Yeah.
that's. But no, like when I'm doing my when I was doing my dice roll, once again, not good at math. So like, if I got like a 6 and a 5, it might take me a second to be like, I got an 11. I
Mhm.
need a 10 to hit, so it's a success by 1, and so now I've got to roll damage, so I've got to find these dice. And if someone's off to the side already doing that math for me
Mhm.
and telling me what it is before,
Mhm.
because they want to hurry up, like they're like,
Yeah.
because like math is easy for them, so they think they find this part boring.
Mhm.
guess what, buddy? I find your whole character story, your whole backstory boring, but I had to sit through that shit. So fuck off. Like, I'll figure it. Like, let me just do the thing I need to do.
Mhm.
Don't rush me, because then I get panicky and I get it wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't want to do. Like, it takes 2 extra seconds for me to go from step to, okay, so then I use these 3 D8s, and so now I add up that, so that's what my damage is. Don't be shouting out my results.
Mhm.
These are my results. I'll figure,
I feel
I
that.
got this.
I feel that just because I speak very carefully, and I'm wondering if I have sometimes like a speech impediment or something, because I do pause frequently.
Mhm.
And so like when I'm role playing, I roll a die and I've done the math, but I've paused to like triple check or whatever.
Right.
And look at all the fucking 1,000 boxes on my character sheet, make sure I've
All
gotten
your
all the goddamn modifiers. What the fuck?
Right. This
I
is
mean,
a
I love
+2
playing.
bow. Like, fuck off.
I love playing the game, but Lord Jesus,
Yeah, the crunch is real.
the crunch is real. And Kevin loves the crunch, but he's
Yeah.
bad at math. So
Yeah.
so like at least I don't ever have him coming over and saying, "Oh, that's a 13." Like, but it tends to be other dudes. It's
other dudes.
It's other dudes.
Yeah,
And
they're not
I'm
gonna
sure they
do it
being
for him.
helpful.
But they'll do it. They'll
Mhm.
do it for you. If you're not quick enough,
Okay.
they'll give you the answer, because they're always trying to show you a thing, and they'll be like, "Look how good I am at math." Ain't nobody asked you, Carl.
Well, you tell Carl that he can come do my differential equations in my model, and then we can talk some math.
What
All
I
right,
want to
Carl.
do is like get like a really, like, basically just go into a kitchen like topless and stand next to the dishes and be like, I don't know what to do. Maybe Carl will come in there and fucking wash the dishes.
Exactly. Jesus.
You wanna help
Come
me
on,
out,
Carl.
Carl? She fucking suds up, motherfucker.
How about you mansplain Dawn to me? Come on.
Right. Come on. How does it know what's dirt and what's not, Carl? Go.
Right?
Um,
No, how does it know to be bubbly?
stand there with like unfolded laundry. I can't do it. I don't understand.
And out there, men are quaking in their boots because that's their secret for
Yeah.
years. Like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I don't know how to do this, and then woman just come behind them and does it right.
Right. Right.
So like,
You're gonna
we're
do it
already-
anyway.
We're gonna take your method.
Exactly. But use boobs against you.
Use boobs against you. And if you're not a boob man, I don't know what to tell you.
I got a butt, if that's what you're into. I got
I
something. I'll figure it out.
Close your eyes and just start.
I know. Look,
start
I'll buy
groping.
a silicone version if you don't like mine. Just here. Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
You do the dishes.
That's
You do
it.
the dishes.
You put your hands in here. But
I
yeah,
don't want to do the dishes.
but I mean that's all I got. That's all I got for.
That was a good.
for
I'm happy for it. That was a
notes.
good run.
Yeah,
So, are you ready to flip tables?
I'm always ready. Kelly, do you know me?
I
Do
know.
you know me?
My table flip will be short, so I'll go really quickly.
All right.
When you're in the drive-through line, I can pay attention and drive up when the person in front of you drives up. What are you looking at? Are you not hungry? Why are you in the drive-through? The rest of us can't go. And when the lanes merge at the McDonald's, not the McDonald's, the McDonald's, because I'm from North Carolina, when they've got double lanes and then the lanes merge, we've already had the big discussion about who gets to go first in that little that little bottleneck. But the person up there, I guess, looking at their phone to check text messages that have happened since they ordered, they don't move up. And like, there's 2 car links now. And who's gonna honk the horn first? Not me. I can get killed. I don't know these people. Pay attention and get the fuck through the drive-through line.
Oh my god. When Kevin is behind the wheel and we are in the drive-through, I have to tap him to move forward. He's looking at his phone and he'll let the car in front of him come to a complete stop, another car length ahead. And like, people in drive-thrus are crazy. Like, they will do anything to try to like not have to wait an extra 10 seconds.
Right.
And I'm like, just if you have to move when they're moving, because like somebody will just swipe in ahead of you. Like,
and also keep your head on a fucking swivel. Like, you're actively doing it. You're still actively driving when you're in a drive-thru. It's in the name.
Yeah.
You can't just zone out. There's a process, and it's like traffic jams. if one person fucks up, it ruins it for every other person. And like what's the word? Not substantially, not sequentially. What's the word I'm thinking of?
Compound, iterative.
It starts with an S. We're gonna get here. It's the it's like when so like one cat can have 5 kittens in 3 weeks, and then that 3 weeks, those 5 kittens can each have
Exponential.
exponentially. Thank you. Why did I think that started with an S? Because X and S would be like
Okay.
like V and F in my mind. These sorts of small changes, they're the exponential reactions behind it, where people are now waiting 15 minutes in a line that is currently moving. Like it. If you could tell, I went through McDonald's this morning.
Okay,
It
and
makes me crazy.
we went to that McDonald's today. I don't know if it was that McDonald's.
It was that McDonald's. Yeah, because you were in my hometown.
I was in your hometown, and that like we were there at that McDonald's, and I'm like, this one needs something with its drive-through line.
Yeah,
because it was wrapped around the damn building.
We love McDonald's here.
Y'all love it, and I couldn't with that and the cookout being right next to each other. It gave me a panic attack.
It's just a mess.
It is a mess. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because they're right there. They share a main thorough way into a parking lot. Yeah, no,
and Roger, I almost went to the Taco Bell, like because I didn't want to deal with it.
Well, the problem with the Taco Bell, it's in the same parking lot, and you wouldn't have waited, and you wouldn't have had as many cars, but you'd have waited as long.
Oh yeah,
because apparently they have to learn how to make a taco each time they make one. They have to stop and look at the manual. It's the slowest KFC Taco Bell ever.
I'm telling you, I get that pain 100%, and Kevin does not see that it's a big deal. He's like, I get there eventually, and I'm like, you do not realize the hate the person behind us.
Yeah. Like if I had laser vision, you'd be dead. Yeah, I can't. Well, and I also, don't even get me started. I hate drive-through. I have so many drive-through etiquette problems. Like, don't be looking at the menu. Right? Know what you want before you get there. They've had the same 10 ingredients for 70 years. Don't use a coupon. You got a coupon? You go the fuck inside. Walk inside and use a coupon. You don't have time to explain to the poor person who just comes through and gets the money why you deserve 30 cents off. I'll give you 50 cents to keep up and get on through the line. Drives me nuts. Yeah. So that was my table flip.
All right. I love that table flip. I'm right there with you. Flipping that fucking table. Oh, I hate it. Ooh, I'm in a sweat of rage from that table flip. It's not even my table, and I'm like,
right? I'm furious.
Oh. Okay. So my table flip is about this self-help book that I read. So I I just put stuff on, my audiobooks in the background when I don't want to listen to. I want audio filler while I'm doing something. And I've done all my podcasts. I don't like re-listening to podcasts. Like, I've done those. I'm in between good books, or I don't have the brain space to do a good book. So anyway, it's part of this is on me, because I was just on the Hoopla app, which is like the library free app, and all that stuff. And I just saw that it recommended me a self-help book, and I didn't Google it or whatever. It was from a New York Times bestseller.
What's the name of the self-help book?
It's called the 5 a.m. Club.
Okay.
Right. So it's about people who wake up early. I was imagining, okay, so people wake up at 5 a.m. That's like a standard line in self-help, like wake up earlier, go to bed earlier.
Right.
You'll get more done. Like everyone fucking has the same internal clock, but you know, it's the thing that they always, the hustlers out there, like if you go on a hustle for your thing, you got to wake up at 5 a.m. or whatever.
Right.
And I wanted to hear what this take was. It was whatever. And because I didn't really care about it, I put it on for the first time ever. I listened to everything at 1x speed. But for this time, I was like, I don't really give a shit about this book. I just want audio filler. I'm going to put it on 1.5 to see if I can ever get used to this sort of thing. Because my life I'd get through so much more content if I could listen to it quicker.
Yeah.
And so I missed some critical juncture. But I started re-listening to it again, and I'm like, this metaphor in this self-help book has gone a while, because it wasn't talking about like this traditional, like, story of X person who gets up and this is what their story was, or
Mhm.
this is who I was before I started waking up at 5 a.m., all the traditional tropes. It was like going into depth about like this one CEO who was about to commit suicide but decided that they were going to go to a self-help seminar and listen to the self-help seminar and met a homeless person there that actually ended up being a rich person, and also met an artist there, and they all like went and flew to this private island together to learn about the 5 o'clock the 5 a.m. club, and like there was an assassination attempt. Like I was like, is what am I listening to? Is this a fiction book? Is this like a parody
Right, it sounds like a
of
law
self-help
labs.
books?
Like, are
Right?
you making
Right?
this up?
Are you making this up? Like, what is going on? And so like I think I listened to 2 hours of it and I was like, okay, I'm done.
Right.
There's 8 or 9 more hours in this audiobook, and I have no idea. So I went to Goodreads, and what this was some author wrote a fiction book about a piece of self-help advice. And they previously had been a bestseller. But this book was so bad that the publisher would not publish it, and so they self-published
Oh
this book.
no.
You know that if you are a New York Times bestseller, the selling author, like
Yeah.
you have a reputation. They will give you money before they even know what you want to write about
Right.
in the
Right.
book.
You get advances and stuff.
Advances and all that kind of shit. But
Yeah.
it had to be crap.
Yeah.
Like the editor had to be like, "There's no fucking way, dude."
And yet
And he
they're like,
had to
people are
publish it
gonna love
anyway.
this.
People are gonna love it. Oh man, the bitches on Goodreads, the comments that they had about this book.
Right.
Oh, oh man, it was worth the like 2 hours of my life that I wasted on like half listening to this book just to be introduced to the rage of
That's
like
so good.
it was. Oh man, so my table flip is like you could be really good at something, but you could still suck sometimes at it.
Make a
And
mistake.
don't just walk away. You can walk away. You can say, you spent all this time writing this book and it's crap. Oh well, welcome to the rest of us, motherfucker. Like
Right. Right. You can have a
oh,
miss every now and then.
you can do it. It's fine. And then the thing is, if you miss, like it's just for you and the editor. It's
Right.
not now it's the whole world can see it.
Don't go share it with everybody for free.
Share it for it's not share it for free. Oh my god.
That's
Lord.
hysterical.
It was
Those ladies on Goodreads, I say ladies, I'm sure there are men in there too, but they are
sure.
brutal. Like if you
Brutal.
like some of my absolute favorite books, I'll go in there to give them a 5-star review and like
Mhm.
see like there's a 1 star and the person like, whoever's reviewing is like, this book sucked. People who read it suck. The author should kill themselves. And what
Mhm.
a waste of paper. This should be burned at all school. And you're like, oh my God. It's a
Yeah.
romance novel. Relax, Becky. Like Becky's pissed. Somebody recommended this to her and she is not happy about it.
She was
They
not
are
happy
brutal
about
in
it.
those comments.
They are so brutal, and like they're like 9 times out of 10, the comments that are the top comments are better written than the
In the
book.
book. It's exactly right.
Like
Oh my
damn,
God. So
y'all
good.
y'all be well read. Y'all be well read. Kudos.
Kudos.
That ain't me. That ain't me, but kudos.
Good table flip. What's your moment of Hygge
My
of
moment
warm feeling?
of warm feeling. Okay, so I wrote in the notes, Chorin.
Uh-huh. Very
It's a
Letterkenny of
Letterkenny
you.
reference. It's a very, very Letterkenny. But like I've been doing a lot of outside gardening and like just like picking up leaves and moving dirt around and
Mm-hmm.
drinking a beer while I do it because I was raised, my dad always did yard work while drinking, even if it was 9 a.m. And so
Mm-hmm.
like in my brain, like yard work equals beer,
You can drink
which
a
is
beer
probably why.
outside. It's legal.
Oh yeah, it's definitely legal. But
Yeah.
like I try to do it after, like if I'm doing a early morning stuff, I try to on a work day, try not to drink. But um but yeah, so I'm sure that the drinking is part of why it's so good for my mental health. I maybe not shouldn't say that. For me personally, it's like a
Sure.
good time.
Yes.
And it's just been so good, like planting flowers, like fucking with moss. I'm trying to get like a moss lawn established since
Yes. Moss
we
Lawn's
live in
where
like
it's
a
at.
I'm so hyped. I've stolen moss from like the neighborhood park. It's in an area that they were like needed. It was the sandbox had overgrown with moss, and so
Okay.
basically I cleaned up the sandbox for the entire neighborhood kids.
Don't tell the HOA.
They tried to come
Steve.
fight me. I saved them $200. They would have to pay labor for that.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, so like I'm like, you know, I'm having so much fun outside. I mean, it sucks right now because there's the yellow
Yeah.
apocalypse of pollen.
Yeah.
So it's more annoying because now everything I touch, I get pollen all over myself.
Yeah.
I don't really have allergies to that. I have allergies to something else, but
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, I love just the outside right now. It's the perfect temperature.
Mm-hmm.
It hadn't rained in like a week, which like it had rain. It's been raining since fucking June last year. Like,
Yes. Yes. We got like 3 weeks of like nice no 2 weeks of nice no rain.
yeah. So man, and that's just a great time. That's been. I mean, it's not a recommendation unless you live in North Carolina to go outside. Like, was like if you're up north, it's probably still kind of a little bit more miserable. But damn,
Yeah.
it's nice out. It's making me
It is
happy.
nice out. And the good thing about having to wear masks is that the masks at least for the most part keep the pollen out of your mouth.
Hmm.
Your mouth and
Hmm.
nose. But if you have allergies like I do to pollen, it's still bad, but it's still pretty outside. So you go and then you just sneeze and take a lot of Claritin.
Yep,
It's still worth
that's
it.
your lot in life.
That's right. Right. You've lived long enough to develop this allergy. Congratulations.
Hmm.
But well, good. I'm glad that you're out there. I'm looking forward to seeing your moss lawn because that's my goal. That's hashtag
I
goals.
I wanted to, and the thing is, it's so cute. We'll put the little moss and we'll get it all ready, and then I'll go out there to just water it down because it likes to stay moist, and
Mhm.
it's been dry, and I'll see a little pebble on top because my kid has gone and put a little pebble on it because she felt that the moss needed a pebble friend,
That's the cutest thing I've ever heard.
right?
That's the
Like,
cutest thing I've ever heard.
what the fuck? Like, why is that so cute? Anyway, so she
She's
just like
so
a little
wholesome.
pebbles, right? Anyway, so that it made me so happy. What's making you happy?
So for me, once again, it's a TikTok account. I did a week and a half ago. I went to bed at 11 o'clock, and by went to bed, I went laid in the bed at 11 o'clock. And this is no exaggeration. At 4 a.m., I said, "Oh, I've been scrolling through TikTok this whole time,"
Oh my god.
and I almost deleted the app at that point because that's a problem. But
Mhm.
it's so good. Anyway, there's an account. They're called the greedy peasant, and it's this. I assume he's a gay guy. I'm part of the mafia. I can say this. He's this gay guy who I think in reality actually makes medieval period clothing. Like
Mhm.
that's like legit. Like it's like a real, like he knows what he's doing. But how I found him was, do you know what a reliquary is?
No.
It is a statue that they used to have in churches back in medieval times that had a piece of a saint in it. And there were different
Oh.
types of reliquary, where if you were like a real, like you would get a piece, like you would get as a piece of reliquary, you would get their statue would sit at an altar. And if you had like something that either was from Christ or touched Christ, it was like the highest. And then like
Mhm.
if you were a bone of a saint or something like a piece of like a cloth that a saint touched, then that was like a lower level. But there were these little tiny
Mhm.
artifacts that they put inside these beautiful statues. And they were like,
Mhm.
there were these certain churches claim to fame. Like, they'd have like a whole hallway full of these reliquaries that had like famous saints stuff in them. And that's how they got people to come to the church. And whether or not they
Mhm.
actually contain these items or the items are legit is neither here nor there. What this guy has done is he's taken these National Geographic photos of these reliquaries, which are usually beautiful women's busts, heads,
Mhm.
and shoulders. And he does the filter that puts his eyes and mouth over their face. And there's 3 of them that feature prominently, and their names are like Susie and Barbara. They talk to each other. And it's the cutest damn thing I've ever seen in my life because he'll be like, "Hi, Susie." I'm like, "Oh, hi, Barbara. What do you have in you today?" "I have the jaw of St. Catherine." And be like, "Who's that?" And there'll be like a new reliquary that has his face. And it's like, "I'm Barbara." And it's like a gross, really like broken one. And they're like, "Oh, hey, Barbara. What have you got in you?" It brings me so much joy because they're just these wholesome. There's nothing dirty about him. There's nothing cursing about him. It's just he's so funny with his delivery of how these statues would talk to each other in these medieval churches and judge each other based on like, "I've got the jawbone of St. Catherine. I heard it wasn't real." And they're like, "Ee," like he does the facial stuff. It's the funniest thing. And I live for it. And so every time if I get there soon enough, I'll put a comment and I'm like, "Chef's kiss, please don't ever stop." I love these. These are my favorite TikToks of all time right now because he's just so good. So if you have a TikTok, go look up the Greedy Peasant and see his stuff. He's so funny and just so his timing is perfect. And I really appreciate good comedic timing. And so like I'm always like, yes, this is the way it's supposed to be done. But yeah, it makes me very happy.
I'm gonna be looking at that tonight, and if it's 4 a.m. and I'm still scrolling the TikTok, you're getting a message from me, Kels.
I know. I'll be like, sorry. Luckily he doesn't have that many videos, so you can just go through him. But
Okay.
I love to like in our lady chat, I'll send TikToks and be like, let's see if they get this one, and like like Danielle will be like, "This is weird." Meanwhile, I'm on the ground laughing at the TikTok. I think it was so funny, and like just like silence. Like you'll come on and go anyway. So like, no, guys, this is funny. But no, the Greedy Peasant is just he's great. He's my fave.
It has
He's my
been
fave.
funny. I straight up I had to, because this week has been crazy, uninstall Discord, and so I got to see some of your links like today when I reinstalled it, and I didn't react appropriately, but they were very funny.
Good, thank you.
Here's the validation you deserve.
Thank you.
In front of all the people listening.
I need constant validation. Yeah, no, I had to mute Discord recently because I'm on so many. I'm on the Geek to Geek Discord, has like 70 channels and they're always talking about something. There's always some drama. Speaking of which, as we close, Mating Habits of the Modern Geek is a proud member of the Geek to Geek Media Network. Like I may have mentioned on the recorded part, we are I'm going to be doing a new show there, a video show that I think is going to be Patreon only for a Geek to Geek Media Patreon patrons. Don't you love how I'm talking? I'm like checking my roots. Anyway, so I'm like, oh, it's like a mirror. And it's going to be some sort of like geeky weekly news. I'm doing it with my friends Todd and Alencia. So it's going to be great. So that's coming up. But if you would like to join our Patreon at Mating Habits of the Modern Geek and watch this episode, if you're listening to this in your car, imagine you could also be seeing it. You could visually see it. You could see the stuff that's on my bookshelf. That's worth $3 right there.
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe I'll have to change the stuff on my bookshelf so it's worth an additional $3 every month. Anyway, but you can go to patreon.com/matinghabits and find out how to subscribe there. You can send me an email at moderngeekcast@gmail.com. To the people who have just recently sent emails that I hadn't responded to, the Gmail forwarding thing broke. So there's some emails that I've responded to them, but don't be discouraged. Still send your emails. I'll eventually get them. You can also follow us on Twitter at Mating Habits, and you can go find all the show notes and all the past episodes and all the little funny links to stuff at matinghabitsofthemoderngeek.com. And yeah, that's it. That's all the promotion I'm gonna do.
That's it. What?
That's it. We're going. I'm done. I'm gonna go watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier real quick, and then come right back here and talk about it.
Ooh. Girl, you busy.
I know. I'm so busy, but it's good. It's a good kind of busy.
It's a good. All right. This was fun. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for stepping up and helping me out. It's always so good to see you. I would talk with you. I do this every day.
Every day. That would be a lot. I would not do it every day. I'm sorry. But
air day.
I would. Oh man. A day. Oh. I'm so impressed with all the podcasts you do, and you're putting all this stuff out there. It's like I get my best friend in my ears.
Aww.
Like so frequently. I enjoy it so much.
Well,
I
I'm so
hope that
glad.
other people feel this way as well.
Well, I hope so too.
But thank you. It's an honor to be a part of your endeavors.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. It's always made better by the people who support me. So, all right, you
Oh,
guys, take care. See you in a couple weeks and go get your shot.
yeah,
Bye.
go get vaccinated, bitches. Bye.
Bye.